What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I've got a relatively quick video for you guys, just bringing some attention to a bug that was just recently discovered by XVItheGreat. I will leave a link to the original source down below, but I just wanted to sort of spread the word on this one, so hopefully we could get a fix, because this is a fairly minor one. I also feel like it's probably a reasonably easy thing for them to get on top of, and I am quite confident that it's not intended to be working this way. But diving right in, something that many players have noticed, myself included, is with an advanced UAV in the air, you're supposed to have the real-time location of every single one of the enemy players, even ghosted players, although you don't get the directional data on ghosted players. And yet, I've run into several situations where it seems like somebody comes out of nowhere and they weren't actually on my minimap with an advanced UAV in the air. Now when this happens, I usually just chalk it up to, oh, must have been a bad spawn, that person just spawned in. But I've also seen several situations where there's no way this player just spawned. Like I would watch the kill cam, and they definitely didn't just spawn in, so they literally just popped up out of nowhere, it seems. So let's have a look at the minimap interaction, and just a reminder, when there's no UAV of any kind in the air, there's no red diamond on the minimap when an enemy fires either a suppressed or an unsuppressed gun. Then with a regular UAV in the air, if the enemy fires an unsuppressed gun, they will show up on the minimap for firing that unsuppressed gun, whereas now, finally, several months after launch, if you fire with a suppressed gun in this situation, you will not be showing up on the radar, at least for firing your gun. You'll still be picked up by the sweeps of the UAV if you're not using Ghost. And then when it comes to an advanced UAV, this shows the location in real time of every one of the enemy players, whether they're using Ghost or not. And if you fire a gun with a suppressor here, as expected, this has no impact. You're still just showing up on the radar. And this really is no surprise. The big surprise here, and the bug that I'm bringing up today, is when you have that advanced UAV in the air, if the enemy fires an unsuppressed gun, from the moment they stop firing, 2 seconds later, their indicator will fade away from your minimap, even though they're still alive and your advanced UAV is still in the air. Now this is fairly brief. The next time you get a sweep on the minimap, they will pop back up again in real time. But even just that brief fade out period can really throw you off, because oftentimes an enemy gets into a gunfight with a teammate, you have a look at your minimap, you see that their arrow is starting to fade away, so you think, well, that player must have died in that gunfight. Then you refocus your attention away from the minimap, only to be then killed by that player a couple seconds later. And that to me can be really frustrating. It is also worth noting, I've been showing this without the enemy using the Ghost perk. It works exactly the same if the enemy is using the Ghost perk. You just don't get the directional arrow against them, you get the real-time diamond against them. But again, with this, if they're firing a suppressed gun, it has no impact on that at all. But when they fire an unsuppressed gun, their diamond will fade away 2 seconds after they stop firing. So there we go, that's the main issue I wanted to bring attention to today. Like I said, this isn't like a massive bug that's going to be affecting people all the time. It only affects you in very specific situations, but I wanted to make sure you guys as a community are aware of this, and hopefully spread the news so the developers become aware of it and potentially get on top of fixing this. Now, some people think that this is working as intended and this is how it's supposed to work, but to me, that just doesn't make any sense at all. I think this is much more likely to be a bug, simply because you shouldn't be rewarded for using an unsuppressed gun when the enemy has an advanced UAV up. If anything, if this was intentional, it should be working this way with a suppressor rather than a non-suppressed gun. Also, another thing I wanted to mention after recording this video is I was watching this gameplay back, which is a bit of an older gameplay from before Season 3 Reloaded, and this didn't appear to be happening in this gameplay at all. So I do think this is a new issue that was introduced with Season 3 Reloaded, because when I watch my newer gameplays, this is now happening. Now, additionally, I just wanted to tag on to the end of the video here because people are always looking for updates on this. When it comes to the integrated suppressed barrels in this game, they are still not working the same as a regular suppressor muzzle attachment. And what I mean by that is still, if you're using the Ghost perk as well as one of these guns with an integrated suppressed barrel, when the enemy has a UAV in the air, they won't be able to see you from the UAV sweeps, but they will be able to see you from when you fire your gun, even though it's suppressed. So that is another thing that I hope the developers will eventually get on top of as well, just so that things are working consistently. If you're using something that says sound suppression in the menus, it should work the same across all of those things, whereas right now, it only works for the muzzle attachments and not that integrated suppressed barrel. But with that, that is going to wrap it up for today's really quick video, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. First up, do you guys agree with me? Do you think this is clearly a bug and not working as intended? Or do you perhaps think this is some intentional system that they have in place? And second, have you noticed this at all throughout a game? Have you ever been screwed over with an advanced UAV in the air and it just seems like someone pops out of nowhere? Just let me know all those thoughts and experiences down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.